Good afternoon. This is Sid Haas with LKCS, and I want to welcome you to our webinar entitled Stop the Statement Runaround. Before I get started, I'll lay down just a couple of small ground rules for you. Your phone lines are muted during the presentation, but I would be happy to answer questions as you have them. Just type them into the GoToWebinar toolbar on your screen, and I'll answer, the questions as I see them pop in. You will be receiving a copy of today's presentation. So this afternoon you'll receive an email with a link to download the presentation, so don't feel like you have to write down everything that I'm saying. And my contact information will appear at the end of the presentation as well. We are recording the webinar, so you will receive a link to our YouTube channel this afternoon in case you wanted to share the webinar with anybody else at your institutions. So with that said, I will go ahead and get started. For those of you not familiar with LKCS, we provide statement processing and e-statement services to just about 200 credit unions and banks nationwide. We also provide a wide variety of additional services from traditional and electronic marketing, web development, social media, a lot of targeted one-to-one marketing campaigns. We have relationships with the credit bureaus for credit pre-screen loan campaigns and lots of different things. So we can, we really feel that we're a one-stop solution for a lot of financial institutions. And over the past 10 to 15 years, our focus has really been on utilizing data to improve our clients' marketing results. And we do that across all media. And we actually see statements, which we'll discuss in this presentation, as an additional marketing medium that you can use, as part of your mix. So as we go through, stopping that statement runaround, the first concept for you to understand with statements today is that you can fetch a great statement design. LKCS and other vendors can prepare your statements in just about any format or layout that you can imagine. So if you receive good-looking statements that you like from other financial institutions, from mutual fund or investment firms, from anybody, even invoices, bills that you're seeing, we can take elements of those and use that to craft a statement unique to your financial situation. So we can take heading styles and different elements, either from statements layouts that we have for other clients, or from things you've seen, or from things you just imagine, and we can form that together to make your statement. When I'm talking about statement design, what I'm talking about is actually reformatting the data that comes to us. And this slide is an example of that. So on the left-hand side, you'll see one of our client statements and the data that comes to us. Now we can print the statement just like that, and a lot of statements out there, look like this example on the left. Obviously this meets the regulatory need to deliver a statement. It's just a pure data dump, essentially. It's not particularly attractive. It's not easy to read, but we can take this same data and actually reformat it, such as the example on the right-hand side. What you're seeing here is that we've done some things like slid the transaction descriptions to the far right. So if you're just reconciling your account, your eye only has to go across the page. We've split the transactions themselves into deposits and withdrawals, into two different columns, just made this statement much easier to read, and obviously incorporate a very large graphical marketing ad, what we call an insert, onto this statement as well. And we'll talk about some of these additional options. But, when we talk about statement design, we're taking data that looks like this and turning it into a statement that obviously supports your brand and makes it easier for your account holders to understand their statements. These are two additional examples just showing different styles of account headings and different ways of handling summary boxes and, regulatory boxes and things like that. But you'll also see how we have different options for incorporating marketing into these reformatted statements as well. And we do the same thing with daily notices and credit card statements. So any of these transactional documents that you're mailing out, or sending via electronic statements can all be reformatted, can all, be made to look better and more professional, certainly more modern and up to date than what you may currently be sending out. We've already started showing you some of our statement marketing options. A term that's come out in the industry is trans-promo or trans-promotional marketing. And what that word trans-promo means is it's a compound word formed by the words transaction and promotional. We're adding promotional advertising or marketing messages to your transactional documents, your invoices, your statements, your daily notices, those types of things. We mine data out of those statements or use data from additional data sources to identify people, that should be targeted with different types of messages and advertising, and use space on the statement to promote those products and services to them. What you're doing is taking advantage of what we call free postage. You're paying, the largest piece, the largest expense of your statement mailing each month is the postage that you're paying to deliver those statements. So, we're enabling you to leverage that postage expense by incorporating this targeted advertising directly as part of those statements. So you're adding marketing messages and targeted marketing opportunities at essentially, no cost. And we'll talk about lots of different ways you can target these messages. So options you have to incorporate these marketing ads are those statement ads and inserts, for one. So we've already shown you some examples, and I'll show you lots more. Just know that we can print ads directly on your statements for very, very little cost. We typically estimate the cost to print a single page of your statement at about 4 cents. So you can imagine if you take, a quarter of a page or even less than that as ad space, the most that ad is going to cost you is a penny. And most of our ads are significantly smaller than even a quarter page. These ads or these inserts, they can be sent to all of your account holders, or we can target specific groups of them to receive one or more of those messages. And these aren't just text-based. These include lots of graphics and photos and obviously, different fonts and things like that. And we can even personalize the ads, and I'll show you some examples of those as we go through. The same technology enables us to print loan payment coupons right as part of your statements, or certain rate grids. So if you have an account holder with a certificate coming due, for example, we can show them, the rates on certificates as part of their statement now. These ads or these inserts that we call them, you can design them yourself. You can select concepts from our online catalog, or we can custom design ads for you as well. Here's a few additional examples. These inserts can be any size. So the two on the left-hand side, are taking up about 2 to 2.5 inches in height and going across the bottom of the statement page. But this example on the right is probably taking up 1/2 to 3/4 of a page to support a specific promotion. And this example at the bottom, this skip pay request form, is actually an example of one of these inserts that we personalize. We actually will populate the coupon with the names and account numbers and loan numbers of the person eligible for the skip pay offer. So when they tear this skip pay offer off of their statement and send it into their financial institution, all of their information will be pre-populated. All they have to do is sign the form and send it in. Since these ads can be any size, we also have the ability to incorporate what we call a full-page cover letter or a statement letter. So this example here is actually a skip pay offer that is sent as the first page of this credit union statement. The rest of the statement pages appear immediately behind it. But with this kind of approach, we're obviously taking that statement mailing and turning it into a fully personalized direct mail campaign where the statement itself is secondary in the envelope. These are great for these types of offers, some things that maybe you can't fit in that little 2.5 or 3 inch high ad, and you want, to call special attention. Maybe it's welcoming a new account holder to your institution. Maybe it's a pre-approved or a pre-screened loan offer, which I'll show you. Lots of different things. Maybe it's a high value, account holder, and you want to promote, your investment relationship or something like that to them. This gives you that opportunity to send a fully personalized, cover letter as part of your statement. These two examples are our pre-screened cover letters. So I mentioned very early in the presentation that we do have relationships with all three of the credit bureaus. We can use those relationships to purchase, pre-qualified or pre-screened lists of your account holders that are eligible for certain refinance offers or new loan offers, meet all of your specific lending and credit criteria for those types of loans. And we can obviously send those out as separate campaigns, or in this example we can deliver these pre-screened campaigns again as the first page of each account holder statements. These can be in full color, they can be in black and white, and as we'll talk about, these can be delivered with your electronic statements as well. So the first few examples that I've shown are what I call one-time use ads. So, you have a campaign or a special promotion, something that you're doing once or, for a month at a time or something like that. You design the ad or have us design the ad, we show it on your statements, and, you next month you put a new ad in place. We also have ways where you can automate some of your marketing, where you can set some things up and forget about them at least for a few months or a year, because we're looking for very specific situations in these next examples that I'll share for you. And when we find account holders meeting those criteria, we're going to trigger different ads and answers that we already have built for those opportunities. So for examples, of these types of statement campaigns, again, we can put something in place for new account holders, welcoming them to your institution, even some cross-sell offers, which we'll talk about here in a second. CD renewals, which I've mentioned, but we can, thank people for paying off a loan. We can look for account holders that maybe have an auto loan on the books with you for 36 months. And maybe you want to start that conversation about, before you go to the dealer to trade your vehicle in, get pre-approved for your next loan, with the bank or credit union. We can, birthday messages. I'll show you what one of our customers is sending out, just saying happy birthday, to their account holders that have a birthday the same month they're receiving a statement. Loan payment coupons I'll show you also, but, lots of different options for taking advantage of cross-sell opportunities, so we can look for people, for example, that don't have direct deposit transactions in their statement and promote direct deposit to them. We can look for people that don't have checking accounts and promote checking accounts. Just a ton of different things that we can do on an automated basis. So that month after month, quarter after quarter, you have different marketing messages being sent out to your account holders without having to dream them up and come up with them, each time. Here are some examples of those. The top two I like. We didn't design those. It's a small customer of ours in the St. Louis area, but I really like how they adopted this OnCert technology and use it, for specific circumstances. So obviously that top ad is used to say happy birthday, to their existing members that celebrate a birthday the same month they're getting a statement. And the ad in the center there is their welcome ad for new account holders. They're known for having fresh popcorn in their lobby, so they take advantage of that, promote that, and then obviously also list a few of their additional products and services. And the OnCert at the bottom, while it's not a marketing ad, it obviously is a huge convenience for both the institution and the account holder, because we're actually taking information from the statement and using it to populate a loan payment coupon. We can generate one or more loan coupons and print them as part of your statements, so you no longer have to send out, different payment books. For HELOC loans, which is this example here, it's obviously a tremendous convenience because, that minimum payment amount can change based on any advances, that the member had towards that account. We also have the opportunity to execute what we call matrix statement campaigns. So, one of the other services that we have for a lot of our customers is a matrix mailing concept. Again, I'll use it for new members or for new customers, but to onboard a new account holder, we're going to cross-sell different products or services based on what products and services each person already has. We do that typically, through separate direct mail or email campaigns. We also have the ability to execute these campaigns right on the statements. So the onserts that we've talked about, we can actually trigger a series of onserts over a period of the first 3 to 6 statements that an account holder receives to successfully onboard them and promote different products and services that they don't already have with your institution. This is an example of what one of our customers does for that. So this is their onboarding campaign that is executed right as part of their statements and e-statements. What I like about what this customer does is those black boxes, those reversed out areas, those are all special offers that their members can receive when they bring these onserts into the financial institution. So it's very, very easy for this customer to measure the response that they get from these onserts. These are the only places that these are distributed, and they find month after month that these easily pay for themselves. But the onserts and ads are not the only opportunity you have to incorporate marketing with your statements. We still process and insert traditional inserts and newsletters and things, with our paper statements, and I'll discuss in a few minutes how we deliver those with our e-statements. But we can take those statement stuffers one step further. So rather than sending every statement stuffer to every account holder, we have the ability to selectively include those inserts and newsletters and brochures with different groups of account holders. We do that by looking at account relationships. What types of accounts do people have or don't have? What balances are they carrying? What transactions do we see? Where do they live? And then any other conditions we can identify either in that statement data file or in separate files you send us. So, as an example, we have a lot of customers that will send us a file of birth dates, account numbers and birth dates. And based on those birth dates, we're sending out a regular newsletter to some, or to most of their account holders. We're sending out a kids newsletter to some, and we're sending out a senior newsletter to some. We have some customers, using that same type of example that don't want anybody under 18 to receive any inserts. So there's lots of different ways to do that. And what we're doing is, again, successfully or target marketing to specific groups of individuals, and also reducing your printing costs, because we're not printing inserts that you don't need and just sending it to everybody. An additional option that you have is to print ads on the front or back of your envelopes. So these examples here are envelope back printing, and I challenge any of you on the webinar today to try to open an envelope without looking at the back of it. It's very awkward to do. So use the back of that envelope, as a billboard. It's extremely inexpensive to take advantage of this type of marketing. At LKCS, just so you know, we charge $11.50 per thousand to print an ad on the back of your envelopes. So you're talking less than a penny, or just over a penny, per envelope to print an ad. It's just really inexpensive. We have stock ads that we design each quarter, so we can always send you, a selection of those. We can custom design envelope backer ads for you, or you can supply your own at any time. And obviously, when it comes to e-statements, we realize that e-statements are the future, that they're for the majority of your account statements. We have some of our customers now that already have 60 and 70% of their account holders on e-statements. That's not the norm, about the average is about 20 to 30%. But we have some customers that have far exceeded that, and we encourage that. We understand that that's what's going to continue to happen in the industry, so we make sure that including statement marketing is built in to our e-statement platform. It's just as important to incorporate these marketing techniques, if not more important, to incorporate them in our e-statements as it is in our paper statements. So everything that I've talked about so far can be incorporated into our e-statements. In fact, our e-statements are identical in appearance to our paper statements. So that ability to include statement ads and onserts extends right over to the electronic statement. The advantage of the e-statement is that, while it costs more to print these ads in full color, typically. It does not cost any more to display these ads in full color on an e-statement. So now we can add some color and really make these ads and inserts pop off the page, pop off the screen for your e-statement account holders, while still handling all of that targeting and personalization and things that we've talked about. So inserts delivered with your e-statements, we talked about how we can selectively incorporate inserts with your paper statements. We can selectively incorporate banner ads with your electronic statements. So if you're sending, any of the combinations of inserts that you're sending with your paper statements, we can send banner ads or display banner ads with your e-statements that link to PDFs of those statement inserts, link to web pages with the information, link to online applications, you name it. And we even have that ability to even, to highlight ads that members or specific account holders haven't seen yet. So if a user hasn't clicked on a particular banner ad, they'll see that little new flag on it, if you enable that feature. Until they do. So it really, calls additional attention even to those banner ads. And remember, color doesn't cost more on your e-statements. So just going back to that reformatting and the statement design from the beginning of the presentation, when it comes to e-statements, you'll be able to further highlight different sections of your statement, obviously the inserts on the statement, even different transactions. We can take negative transactions and display them in red. Anything like that is possible. And it's not going to cost you any more at all to display that statement data in full color on your e-statements. Our e-statement platform itself, if you haven't seen it yet, is designed for a premium user experience. We feel it's very important that e-statements deliver a better experience than the paper statement. And what I mean by that is, think of it from your account holder's perspective. They know what that experience is going to be like to go to their mailbox, open up an envelope, pull out their statement and look at that statement. They may not know exactly what that statement is going to look like, but they know what to expect. When you're asking account holders to sign up for e-statements, they don't know what to expect. They don't know if they're going to like it. They don't know how easy it's going to be or how difficult it's going to be. So we have to make sure that all of the e-statement platforms, that are out there are as good as they can be. They're seamless to use. They're easy to operate. There shouldn't be any instructions or, you shouldn't need to answer questions about how your e-statements work. And our solution is very, very simple from the end user perspective and very, very powerful at the same time. With e-statements, obviously, one of the big advantages is you don't have to print out these statements and you don't have to keep them in that file cabinet. So we see at a minimum customers asking us to retain e-statements for a period of 12 months, but we have more and more asking for 24 months. We have some asking for 5 years, and we have even a couple of customers that have asked us to retain e-statements indefinitely. So that statement history and that retention period is very, very important for you to consider when it comes to your e-statements. You want to make sure that it's easy for account holders to enroll by themselves without your involvement and still remain fully compliant with all of the eSign Act requirements. Our solution does that. We do a couple of very unique things, but we still see solutions out there where banks and credit unions are asking account holders to sign up for e-statements by coming into the branch to fill out the paperwork. I mean, that just should not need to be today. A lot of our customers, more and more of our customers, utilize a home banking single sign-on. We have relationships with multiple online banking vendors so that your account holders can sign into online banking, click on a link within the home banking platform, and go right over to their e-statements seamlessly. But we also offer the ability for what we call a multi-factor login, where account holders can assign a username and password to their accounts, and they can log in manually to those e-statements. And one of the unique things with LKCS's solution is we can actually do both simultaneously. So you can have some account holders access their e-statements through online banking, and you can have others access through a username and password. So, we have situations where not all customers want online banking, and some where they just don't want to have to go through online banking whenever they want to access their e-statements, and we can handle all of that for you. The back end of our e-statement solution provides simple management and very powerful reporting. So, your staff can access all account holder statements, whether they're signed up for e-statements or not. They can view reports on activity, on how many users, how many e-statement users you have, how many people are signed up to receive e-statements, even see information such as the email notifications that we send out, which one of those are bouncing back, so you can correct email addresses for your account holders. Lots and lots of advanced functionality that's very, very easy for the credit union. Our e-statement platform and others, also enable you to view multiple document types. So, not only are we able to present your monthly and quarterly statements electronically, but we can present your daily notices, we can present your end-of-year tax forms, we can present mortgage statements, all of those types of things within the same platform. So, an account holder logs in once and is presented with all of their different documents within the same interface. And we can even present multiple accounts. So for account holders that have multiple accounts or that are joint owners on accounts, we can give them one pane of glass where they can log in and view all of the different types of documents for all of those different accounts that they have at your institution. And our e-statements are fully mobile friendly. They're fully responsive, so they would respond to the size of the resolution of the device that an account holder is using. And because we see, over 40% of users accessing the internet through a mobile device, we even provide the option of text message notifications. So we're not just limiting our notifications to email messages going out each month when we post documents, for you, but we can also send out text messages, and we allow the end user to actually determine what type of message they want to receive, whether it's an email or a text message, and they can do that for each type of document. So for a statement, maybe a monthly statement, an email is fine, but if they get an NSF notice, an insufficient funds notice, they want to receive a text message. They can set that all up, on their own without your involvement. And we have some pretty advanced permissions in our e-statements, just so you know. So we can restrict account numbers so that employees cannot view other employees' accounts. We can provide auditors with access to the e-statements. Auditors have typically audited paper statements, annually for years, and they're just now beginning to realize that they have to start looking at these e-statements, especially as the majority of our customers' account holders are receiving an e-statement. So we have ways for the auditors to do their work and securely review those electronic statements. And obviously, now none of this none of the marketing options, are important if we provide the wrong information or there's any type of security breach with your statement data. So LKCS does offer what we call best of breed, accuracy and security. We're SOC 2 certified. We have numerous systems in place, as I'll show you on the next slide, to protect the privacy of your account holders' financial information. This is the most important thing that we do. We have, we customize our equipment. So we print 2 different barcodes on your paper statements to ensure, and those barcodes are read by different systems on our inserting equipment to make sure that we account for each and every page of your statements that are printed, and each and every envelope contains the correct pages for each account holder. We have a full disaster recovery plan in place. We synchronize our data with another SOC 2 certified data center. So in the event that our primary facility is wiped out, we can still process statements and e-statements uninterrupted. Everything is encrypted. Everything that is stored here, everything that goes out, even our archive CDs, when we send CDs of PDFs to our customers to store, all of those are encrypted. Our employees undergo background checks. We perform network intrusion tests on our network at least twice annually. So lots of different solutions in place to protect the security integrity of your statements. And I would invite any of you to visit our facility. We'd be happy to walk you through and actually go through these, these controls and these security policies in much more detail. Our promise is that we're not going to be another vendor you love to hate. We hear stories all the time from our customers, about different vendors that, take forever to make changes and charge thousands of dollars for programming changes and lots of different things. We're not one of those. Our last customer satisfaction survey resulted in 98% out of our customers indicating a very high level of satisfaction in our statement services. We can assure you that if you call or email us, you're going to get a response. We may not have the answer to your question immediately, but you're going to know that we're working on it, and you're going to get an idea of when we're going to get back to you. We feel we offer the best communication in the industry. It's something that is very, very important to us. And again, we promise fast answers and issue resolutions. We bend over backwards for our customers. I'd be happy to provide numerous references for you to contact. And there's lots and lots of different stories that I can share with you that demonstrate how we're different, than other statement providers out there. We really do go the extra mile. No request, is too much for us. I can think of one customer to tell you one of these stories that has an account holder that's visually impaired, and they wanted to receive a large print version of a statement. And we looked at it and we talked to our programmers, and we could have programmed a large print version of the statement, and it would have cost, quite a bit of money for us to do that type of programming for one account holder. And yet when we talked to the customer, we figured out that we could just print that statement on a 12-inch by 18-inch piece of paper instead of an 8.5 by 11-inch piece of paper, enlarge it on the printer without doing any programming, without doing any, without having a huge expense. And we print that statement like that once a month, for this one account holder, mail it out. It fulfills the need for the financial institution and makes that account holder extremely happy. We just, again, I don't know of many vendors that are willing to go to that level of manual intervention for one account holder, but we would be happy to do it. We make our clients look good, across the board. So, customer service is something that we hang our hat on. And I'd be happy again to provide references for you to talk to. That's all I have for you today. So I would be happy to answer any questions that you have. I'll stay on the line, but please feel free to contact me at any point with any questions that you may have. Thanks very much.